We're back, guys! Welcome to Subjectively, the channel where we discuss the art of character design in the context of popular media. My name is Jack, and this is the first Subjectively video of 2022. Now, initially, this video was supposed to be a Pokemon one. Sorry, Mazda Region fans. We'll get to you guys soon, don't worry. But for now, there's a much more pressing issue that has to be addressed. Season 12 of League of Legends has just started, and as always, it brings with it a myriad of new content for fans of the game to enjoy and complain about. New skins, new gameplay changes, new items, and even a new champion. This is all very exciting, or infuriating, depending on how much time you spend in the comment section of Riot's YouTube uploads. But for me, and all of us here at Subjectively, no news is more exciting than the announcement of another champion visual and gameplay update. Chances are that most of you watching this video already know what that means. But for those of you who are new to the world of League, allow me to poison your mind with information that no one really needs. Basically, League is an old game. A lot of its champions come from a time when the budget was thin and the art direction was, poorly defined. Nowadays, the art in League of Legends and the level of complexity in the world's story is actually a standard that I set for myself and my art. So, in order to keep the whole game feeling consistent, Riot takes the time to update the visuals and gameplay kits of their oldest champions so that they don't look so jarringly out of place in the modern game. Most of these VGUs are pretty well received. Fiddlesticks and Volibear became two of my favorite designs in the game after they were reworked. But others are met with mixed opinions from the fanbase at large, and to make sure that they're actually improving on characters' designs, Riot has been a lot more open with the process of updating their champions, allowing fans to share their direct input with the team. This inclusion of the fanbase into the work of Riot's professional design team also involves an annual poll that allows fans to vote on which dated champion design deserves a VGU next. And friends, it's that time of year again. This time around, Tryndamere and Kog'Maw have been added to the selection, valid choices, I won't deny, and three familiar faces return, Nocturne, Skarner, and Shyvana. Look, all of these champions need love, it's true. Tryndamere not only looks inconsistent with a lot of other Freljord champions, but his jerky animations make him feel like a button-operated G.I. Joe figure. Kog'Maw has his charms, certainly. I think he has a bit of a cult following, in fact. But he also doesn't match his splash art and in general does not fit in with the modern Void aesthetic. We discussed that a little bit more in our Cho'Gath video. Nocturne has been passed over on these polls for 2 years in a row, but it's obvious that he needs some help. Like Fiddlesticks, Evelynn, and Tahm Kench, Nocturne is one of the 10 demons of Runeterra, but unlike these three champions, he looks less like a demon and more like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster from 2002. Skarner, as people are so fond of saying, really needs some love. He actually has a bit of an inverse problem to a lot of champions as old as him, in that his splash art looks atrocious, and his in-game model and animations actually aren't that bad. However, the majority of people rooting for the Brackern are doing so because of his abysmal play rate, hoping that this VGU will make him more fun to play and more relevant in the meta. And finally, we have Shyvana, who, like Nocturne, has been on this poll twice before, only to come in second. Twice before. My fellow League of Legends players, you all know how we feel about Shyvana. If you don't, be sure to check out the video we made over a year ago wherein we made our own hypothetical VGU. Now, last year, I was pretty quiet about the poll. I made a community post, I think I posted something on Instagram, but for the most part, I didn't make a stink. And look where that got us. Yeah, okay, Udyr needed a rework just as bad as Shyvana did, maybe even more so, and yes, I think the new design looks nice, and the team listened to the fans, and he's not another skinny twink e-boy. I can't do this. I can't pretend like I'm not crushed that once again Shyvana fell just short of the opportunity to become as cool as I've always seen her to be. So this year, I refuse to sit idly by and simply hope for the best. This year, I'm on a warpath to spread the message about Shyvana and her long road to salvation. I've flooded your recommended pages with community posts.
One time is funny, 2 times is fucking annoying, no?
We already have an in-depth video discussing the changes we'd make to Shyvana. Now, allow me to throw a few new ideas your way, and hopefully, if you haven't voted already, I can convince you that the Half-Dragon of Demacia is the best and only choice for this new VGU poll. Out of the 5 champions on the VGU poll, Shyvana actually has the most in-depth and well-considered lore. She's pretty relevant to the overall story behind the game of League of Legends, and was even featured in the controversial Ruination event. I've heard a lot of people say things like, well, at least she's in the story, or Shyvana is already featured in Legends of Runeterra and Wild Rift, Skarner needs more attention. But If Shyvana is so important to the modern world of League of Legends, shouldn't she look more like she belongs in that world? A few months ago, we found ourselves in a similar position when Caitlyn, a very old and outdated looking champion, was about to become a main character in Fortitia's animated series Arcane. They knew that they couldn't change her design in the show and leave her in-game model looking like a Lewis Carroll wet dream, so they put the time into giving her an ASU, an art and sustainability update. Unlike VGUs, these cosmetic changes didn't affect her kit, and instead just focused on bringing her base design and the design of her skins into 2021. It was a really nice way for Riot to show that they did, in fact, care about the artistic integrity behind this lore-relevant champion. Doesn't Shyvana deserve the same treatment? Think for a moment just about the potential in only her skins. Shyvana has 7 alternative skins, and out of those 7, maybe only 3 of them are actually somewhat cool. Imagine how cool Boneclaw could be with a modernized VGU. Technically, this skin is part of the same line as the Beast Hunters and Prehistoric Cho'Gath. Can't you just picture the most badass Monster Hunter themed warrior with an even cooler dragon form? I know, we're not voting for another ASU, we're talking about a VGU. Listen, if Shyvana was a candidate for an ASU, maybe we wouldn't even be having this conversation. To me, her visuals are the most important thing to change, but while we're on the topic of her kit, it's worth bringing that up as another reason why she needs this VGU. Shyvana is one of my most played champions in League of Legends. To be honest, I do enjoy playing her, when I'm winning. When you fall behind though, playing Shyvana is a painful waiting game of crappy engages and long cooldowns. Her entire kit is based around auto-attacking, literally just clicking on an enemy until they die. Her E ability does burst damage, and increases the damage targets take from her auto-attacks. Her W makes her move faster and last longer every time she auto-attacks, and her Q, wait for it, is 2 auto-attacks. The most interesting thing about her kit is her ultimate, which turns her into a dragon, already pretty awesome, and then makes all of her abilities do a little bit more damage, essentially. Of course, the most popular build path for Shyvana these days is full ability power, meaning that the majority of your relevance in a fight is your fireball. A lot of times you'll find yourself just walking back and forth, waiting for the long E cooldown to refresh while your team fights without you. It can get really uninteresting. Wouldn't it be awesome if her abilities changed slightly depending on the kinds of dragons she's killed throughout the course of the game? Kinda like in Wild Rift. The elemental drakes have been a huge focus of so many updates over the past 2 years. Shyvana's gameplay should reflect these changes. She currently has a lower pick rate than any other champion on this VGU poll, except Skarner, a depressing 2.73%. Ironically, she's down there with 2 of my other favorite champions, Aurelion Sol and Rel. Whether this is because her kit is boring to play or just less effective than other champions, I don't know. But even for a guy running an art channel, I can tell you that there's something about how she plays that needs to change. And speaking of changing, let's touch on that ultimate ability again. This time from the point of view of a professional artist, and not from a terrible League player. Put yourself in my shoes 7 years ago when I first started playing League. I heard that there was a character that could transform from a bloodied warrior into a mighty dragon. I'm pumped, I'm thrilled, this is everything I could have hoped for. And then I see this. This malnourished, brittle-boned, skinny-wristed, dried-up raisin of a dragon. I'm sure I'm not the only one out here who feels slighted by this lack of cool, playable dragon characters in League of Legends. Granted, we have Asol, who, like I said earlier, is my favorite design in the game, and another of my mains. But honestly, the non-playable map objective dragons look cooler than Shyvana. According to her lore, Shyvana is actually the daughter of one of these elemental drakes. Sure, she's also a little human, but don't you think that at the very least her dragon form should resemble these monsters just a tad bit more? A more ferocious head, focused eyes, heavy armor plating, and thick, powerful limbs. I get that she's supposed to look a little bit hybridized, like a deformed dragon-human fusion, but this looks like it should be one of Singed's experiments gone wrong. Nowhere in any of her stories does it say that her dragon form should look like a hideous mutant. You've already seen our initial concepts for a revamped dragon form, but today I'll throw in another, more hastily done sketch just to put another idea in your head. A little tiny taste of one of the many options for what Shyvana could be. That's really the beauty of a potential VGU for Shyvana. There are so many different directions Riot could take it in. She could be something like the beefy, muscular concept that we designed in our video last year. She could remain slender and agile, but more armored and stylized, like this concept developed by artist Robert Song. There's also a microscopic chance that she'd get really feral, like this quick sketch I did a few days ago, but that seems unlikely. And honestly, it doesn't work super well for her character's personality. People keep saying that they don't want her to turn into another anime girl, but hey, some people like that. In fact, throughout our Shyvana community post-campaign, I've seen a lot of people argue that she needs to stay conventionally attractive in order to justify her relationship with Jarvan IV. I'll give my 2 cents about that real quick. First of all, why does her design need to be influenced by her relationship with Jarvan at all? Shyvana is her own character, and she has a lot more going on than a crush on the prince, which, by the way, is not canon at all. It's just a fanship. It really shouldn't have any impact on how she looks. And even if she did, why would that mean she needs a thin waist and big hips? Maybe Jarvan is into big buff ladies with arms thicker than his. Just because one person finds bodies like this attractive doesn't mean it's a universal beauty standard. In fact, I'd have no problem at all if they made her hot while exploring other forms of physical beauty. However, my vision for Shyvana is just a little bit different. The Shyvana I know and love is a beast that cannot be tamed. Her heart burns with the fury of a dragon, but her mind yearns for something else. Security, trust, compassion. She is forsaken by the dragons, shunned by Demacia, and forced to restrain her true form for the sake of acceptance. I'd love to see these themes reflected in how she looks. Tired, battle-scarred, but unbreakable. The fury of the dragon fighting to break free, but chained down by the shackles of the society she thought would accept her for who she is. Fury, might, and fire. Honestly, I just want to see her become the badass dragon warrior I've always imagined her to be, and not look like a bootleg Barbie doll that we have now. I'm not going to throw facts and statistics at you, this is subjectively. We're all about opinions on this channel, and we want to hear yours. Not that you need an invitation, but please feel free to share your thoughts on this potential VGU, and why you think Shyvana should get it, or why you think one of the other champions deserves it more. Mine is an emotional appeal. Shyvana could be one of the coolest champions in the game, and a VGU could scratch a lot of the itches that people are feeling right now with modern champions. A less conventionally attractive human character, a more badass monster character, and a more powerful woman all in one. How could you say no to that? But if you do, or if it's already too late to change your vote, I completely understand. The other 4 candidates are absolutely in need of a change, and if it wasn't for Shyvana, I'd vote for Skarner to get this VGU. For the rest of you, however, I hope I was able to give you just a little taste of what's been bouncing around in my head for as far back as 2015. A powerful, devastating, and unstoppable warrior with the heart of a dragon. And she could be ours. Just make sure to cast your vote before January 19th. Remember, you must download the client and make an account to vote, so non-league players, sorry in advance. Thank you everyone for watching. I know this video was a little bit different from our usual uploads, but this is a global emergency that requires immediate action. Pokemon fans, if you're even watching this, don't worry, next week we'll be working on designs for the player characters of the Mazo region. And Claire is, as we speak, starting work on the Kaisa redesign. We'll have that done by the end of the month. If you liked the video, you know the drill. Drop us a like and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, fam. We'll see you in the next one.